Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pakistan's number one football show. I am Ismail Farooq. This is Pressing Matters brought to you by On the Mic, Pakistan's number one football podcast. Do support the channel by subscribing, by following us on social media, by liking our posts, by liking our videos, by watching our videos. And please do consider supporting the channel by buying us a coffee, ladies and gentlemen. We have started this new page, buymeacoffee.com. It can be a one-time donation of as low as $1, or you can pledge to us every single month. We would really appreciate it, and it would really help us do all the sorts of things that we're doing across sports, across music, across film, across all the topics that we're covering. And it would be a real honor for us and a pleasure for us to continue to do this over the years, in the coming years as well. I am going to talk about Chelsea won, Manchester United won today. और इस गेम की अगर हम बात करें, I mean, a lot of people would say it was a boring game. A lot of people would say, nothing really happened. But the reason I'm doing a video on this is because I think a lot happened in this game, right? And I'm going to break that down for you bit by bit. लेकिन उससे पहले let's just go over some of the key points from the game. उसके बाद हम detail में जाएंगे. I'm going to show exactly what I mean because I've taken out some, screenshots from the match itself. और हम tactically देखेंगे कि what United were trying to do, what Chelsea were trying to do, and how that all played out. But key points from the game. First things first, United, and I hate to say this because I'm a Liverpool fan, but United are becoming a very good side. I mean, they're not quite there yet, but you can clearly see that they're developing into a very good side, right? Or I think the person that you can point the finger to in this case is Erik ten Hag. The manager has done a great job. I mean, शुरू में आए Brentford से हार गए catastrophically. Then also I think Brighton से भी हारे. And that really put the pressure on him. I mean, to the point that after the second game against Brentford, a lot of people were saying that he could go, as ridiculous as that sounds. But anyway, now you can see कि अगर आप एक manager को time दें, एक अच्छे coach को time दें to bed in his ideas, to make sure that the group follows him and his principles on and off the pitch. I think we clearly see what the effect of that is, and we can see the value of having a good or a great coach. And same players as last year, more or less. I mean, there are a couple of additions here and there. We've got Martinez, we've got Eriksen, and they've made a difference. But by and large, a lot of players are एक overall structure hai. You're seeing a more cohesive, a more organized, a more how would I say, consistent teams in the terms of the way they play. So there's that. दूसरी तरफ अगर हम देखें तो there's Graham Potter. And I cannot speak highly enough of him because I think he's one of the best young managers in the world, alongside Ten Hag actually. And in this match, you could clearly see his brilliance in terms of versatility and tactical acumen. And I'm going to explain all of that in just a bit, what I mean by that. But इन दोनों चीज़ों को जब आप combine कर रहे हैं तो what we got was a proper chess match. It was fascinating to see. बाद में obviously जब आप live देख रहे हो तो you can't really analyze it इतनी detail में, but after when you watch it back you clearly see what was happening. And the last thing that I would say before I move on to the match footage and everything is it was, if I were to categorize this game, it was a battle for the center. That's all I'm going to say right now, and we're going to jump in and I'm going to talk about everything. So let's start by talking about excuse me. Let's start by talking about Chelsea's pressing. Chelsea press किस तरह करती and United's build up, So how United were trying to build their attacks from the back, and how Chelsea were trying to stifle them and win the ball high up. So before I show you, instances from the match, let me just give you an overview of, how each team was setting up. So अगर हम अभी देखें, so basically United obviously playing in a back four, sort of in possession and even out of possession. Casemiro was playing as the number 6. Eriksen was sort of not exactly with him, but not exactly with Bruno. इधर हम इनकी अभी इसकी positioning की बात करते हैं. Eriksen की positioning क्या थी and why it was so important. Then Bruno between the lines. Then you got Sancho, Anthony, Rashford pinning the centre backs, right? Chelsea were playing with a back 5 जो कि obviously in possession back 3 बन जाती थी of sorts. अगर हम सिर्फ यूनाइटेड के बिल्डअप और चेल्सी की प्रेसिंग की बात करें, so as you can see Chelsea were pressing with a sort of a 3-2 structure, सही है. और 3-2 स्ट्रक्चर के अंदर क्या हो रहा था, 3-2 स्ट्रक्चर था, उसके अंदर क्या हो रहा था कि माउंट और स्टर्लिंग जो थे, they were discouraging passes to the full backs, सही है. they were discouraging passes to the full backs जो आपके शॉ और डैलो थे. और वो कभी कभी सर्टन ट्रिगर्स उनके थे कि वो सेंटर बैक्स को बाहर से अंदर की तरफ प्रेस करते थे, राइट, कि वो डैलो या शॉ का पास भी ब्लॉक करें और सेंटर बैक को फोर्स करें कि वो दूसरी तरफ जाए एंड ट्राइंग टू बॉक्स हिम इन समहाउ, सही है. अगर किसी तरह वो फुल बैक्स पे बॉल चली जाती थी, जो कि पॉसिबल है, जब द इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग टू नोटिस कि यू व्हेन यू आर डिवाइजिंग अ सॉर्ट ऑफ अ प्रेसिंग स्ट्रक्चर एंड हाउ टू हाई प्रेस द ऑपोजिशन और व्हाटएवर, you need to account for certainly a lot of ifs. What happens if this happens? What happens if this happens? Let's suppose they play it to the fullback, even though we don't want them to play it to the fullback. Let's suppose they play it to the fullback. What happens then? So Chelsea in this case, what they decided was, if it went to one of the fullbacks, Chelsea's wing back would press. So Azpilicueta or Chilwell would press Man United's fullback. And what would happen then obviously is that maybe Shaw or Antony then got free because the wingback was in that zone जिधर Shaw और Antony वो Sancho और Antony खेल रहे थे. So what Chelsea did then was that the ball-sided centre back. So let's suppose that Azpilicueta goes to press Shaw. The ball-sided centre back, which is Chalobah in this case, would shift across to Sancho, and the rest of the defense would also shift towards the ball side. Because the idea is that you're shifting towards the ball side because it's okay if you leave sort of the non-ball side open. And the reason for that is that it's less of a risk, right? अगर आप प्रेस कर रहे हो तो आप चाह रहे हो कि उनको कम टाइम और स्पेस मिले, और कम टाइम और स्पेस में हार्डली लाइक गिने चुने प्लेयर्स होंगे. अगर कोई कर दे वो भी बहुत कम होता है. दैट एनी प्लेयर कैन देन पिक आउट ए क्रॉस फील्ड बॉल अंडर प्रेशर टू लाइक the opposite side winger जो इतना आगे खड़ा हुआ है, right? So they're willing to take that risk, and a lot of teams do this. So वो shift कर जाते थे and they would then make it a back four essentially, right? क्योंकि Azpilicueta या Chilwell जो आगे जा चुका था. What United were doing were they were focusing all the match, and this is actually linked to Erik ten Hag's sort of influence from the Johan Cruyff, Pep Guardiola sort of school of thought. He's obviously Dutch, so there's Cruyff influence. Then he actually worked at Bayern while Pep was working there. So they definitely learned a lot from both of them. And the principle is that you always want to create an extra man, numerical superiority. And what United were trying to do is कि वो center midfield में numerical superiority create करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे. They had Casemiro, they had Eriksen and Bruno, obviously. But they also, okay, so पहले तो इन तीनों की बात करते हैं. So there were 3: Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, Eriksen. Chelsea had 2, as we just saw, right? Chelsea had 2: Jorginho and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. So clearly, if United created the sort of right situations, it was a 3v2 to be exploited, और free man जो था उसको वो ढूंढ सकते थे, right? Sometimes if Chelsea, और ये कभी बहुत 1-2 दफ़ा हुआ था, इफ़ चेल्सी वर सक्सेसफुल इन सॉर्ट ऑफ मेकिंग श्योर के तीनों जो हैं वो किसी तरह जो है बंद हो गए हैं, डेलो और एंटनी वुड एक्चुअली सॉर्ट ऑफ ड्रिफ्ट इन फील्ड, उस एरिया में आते थे टू मे बी क्रिएट अ 4th मैन. सो 4v3 कर देंगे वो इन अ सेंस, बट दे वर ऑलवेज ट्राइंग टू मेक श्योर दैट दे हैड दैट एक्स्ट्रा मैन, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली द लॉजिक इज क्वाइट सिंपल. यू हैव द एक्स्ट्रा मैन, आप उसको खेलते हो एंड देन यू कैन प्रोग्रेस, राइट? And one of the things that I'll show you right now is their positioning. अभी आप देखना, I'll point that out as well. Left side की तरफ tilt हुए हुए थे तीनों midfielders in a way. Casemiro के अलावा Eriksen and Bruno were tilted towards the left side, and there was a reason for that, and we'll get to that, because it made it very difficult for Jorginho and Loftus-Cheek to pick them up, right? और उनमें से कोई एक mostly always free होता था, and United were building out pretty successfully for the most part. And the other thing I want to highlight is Martinez is a very, very good signing. Not just in terms of, obviously solid in defense, all of that. He's robust. But his contribution in possession is absolutely vital to how Eric Ten Hag wants to play. United had a similar player in Daley Blind, and they didn't use him properly. They let him go, but Martinez is exactly that sort of player. He's left-footed, which actually makes a big difference जब आप left center back खेल रहे होते हो, and he's able to pick those passes between the lines, and that's very important. अगर आपने central overload create करना है, you want to have that free man in the center, and you want to play those accurate passes to players between the lines, ताकि आप you evade the pressure, and then that player is able to turn and then obviously attack. So now just let's look at some of the examples here. तो basically अगर हम ये देखें तो चेल्सी का वही स्ट्रक्चर है 3-2 सही है. अभी बॉल जो है वरान से मार्टिनेज की तरफ जा रही है. ओके, एंड जस्ट एज वी टॉक्ड अबाउट कि देयर आर गोइंग टू बी सिचुएशंस जिसके अंदर द बॉल गेट्स टू द प्लेयर दैट दे लाइक वो आइडियली नहीं चाहते, बट अगर जा रही है तो अब उसके लिए दे हैव टू प्रिपेयर, राइट. सो इफ़ वी सी हियर, अभी मार्टिनेज शॉ फ्री हो गया, मार्टिनेज शॉ को दे रहा है. एस्पिलिक्वेटा सीज दिस एंड ही इज़ ऑन द मूव एसएप. जिस तरह हमने बात की थी कि चेल्सी का विंग बैक जो है वो जाएगा यूनाइटेड के फुल बैक पे इफ़ द बॉल गोज टू हिम. नाउ लुक एट जॉर्जिनियो इज़ ऑलरेडी टेलिंग चालोवा कि सैंचो फ्री हो रहा है, सो यू हैव टू मूव टूवर्ड्स दैट साइड, राइट. दैट्स ऑल्सो व्हाट वी डिस्कस्ड. सो इफ़ वी नाउ मूव टू what happens right after that, okay, Shaw gets the ball, Azpilicueta पहुंच गया हुआ है, and you see here Chalobah पहुंच गया है, डिफेंस शिफ्ट कर गई उस साइड पे, राइट. सो दिस इज गुड फ्रॉम चेल्सी, एवरीथिंग्स फाइन. द पास फ्रॉम शॉ टू सैंचो इज सॉर्ट ऑफ ब्लॉक्ड. अगर वो सैंचो को खिला भी देता है, देयर इज अ चेल्सी प्लेयर देयर, ही कैन ओनली गो बैक टू मार्टिनेज, राइट. बट हियर्स वेयर द प्रॉब्लम comes, जो मैं पहले बात कर रहा था कि United were trying to overload the center and Chelsea के 2 प्लेयर थे, उनके 3 प्लेयर थे, तो हमेशा फ्री प्लेयर हुआ था. Now look at this. एक चेल्सी का प्लेयर जॉर्जिनियो एरिक्सन के साथ, लॉफ्टस चीक ब्रूनो के साथ, फ्री कौन है? This guy here, Casemiro, and that's exactly who they're going to find. और अभी like if you can see just in the other picture, he gets the ball and he's in acres of space, obviously, because they're pinned back, and obviously now he can pass through Dalot, he can turn, and United are out, and they have potentially a 4v4 situation of sorts if they can capitalize. Obviously we won't go into whether they capitalize or not, that's besides the point. Let me give you another example. अभी बॉल फिर से मार्टिनेज के पास है, and he's going to have a lot of the ball. Again, Mount is closing the pass to Shaw. जैसे हमने डिस्कस किया, Aubameyang is just waiting कि मैं पास इधर वरान को जाएगा तो मैं प्रेस करूँगा. Jorginho is on Casemiro because obviously they don't want Casemiro to get the ball, turn and then sort of dictate, and then United can easily build out, right. तो वो पहले ही Casemiro पे आ गए. Sterling is on Dalot. We move ahead. Now Bruno's positioning, जो मैंने लेफ्ट साइड टिल्ट की बात की थी, वो टिल्ट क्या है? वो टिल्ट ये है कि एरिक्सन या ब्रूनो हमेशा लेफ्ट साइड पे आ रहे थे, एंड देयर आर अ कपल ऑफ रीजंस फॉर दिस. पहला रीज़न ये है कि ऑब्वियसली 2 आप होल्डिंग मिडफील्डर चेल्सी वाले खिला रहे हैं, रूबन लॉफ्टस-चीक, जॉर्जिनियो. ऑब्वियसली दोनों अब एक साइड पे नहीं हो सकते ना. अब अगर इधर जॉर्जिनियो राइट साइड संभाल रहे, चेल्सी की राइट साइड, यूनाइटेड की लेफ्ट, तो अब लॉफ्टस चीक भी इधर तो नहीं आ सकता ना. अगर ये दोनों आगे लाइन में, तो ये पूरा एरिया ओपन हो गया. अब इधर कोई अराइव कर सकता है, बॉल खेल सकता है, अ लॉट कैन हैपन, राइट. सो बेसिकली जोनल डिफेंडिंग इज कि आप अपने जोन के अंदर जो बंदा है उसको पकड़े हो. यूनाइटेड वर ट्राइंग टू पोजिशन देमसेल्व्स सच, स्पेशली ब्रूनो और एरिक्सन, के जॉर्जिनियो के जोन में वो तीनों बंदे ले आए इन अ वे, राइट, और एटलीस्ट 2 लेकर आए. Jorginho had to, or at the very least, worry about 2 people. ठीक है, and that obviously meant कि कोई एक बंदा फ्री हो रहा था. और जो दूसरी वजह लेफ्ट पे करने की, वो I think is Martinez is passing, and obviously Varane is a great player, he can drive with the ball, but Martinez जो है वो his passing between the lines is top notch. So that's what they were trying to do. So अगर अभी आप देखें, Jorginho is sort of caught between 2 people, and look at Bruno over here. Bruno is actually signaling कि Casemiro फ्री हो रहा है, राइट, एंड जॉर्जिनो डजंट नो व्हाट द हेल टू डू बिकॉज इट्स अ 2v1. ठीक है. नाउ इफ यू just go to the next picture. Yeah, if you go to the next picture, वो अब उसने उस वक्त पास नहीं दिया उसे, राइट? उसने वरान को दे दिया. अब वरान इज गोइंग टू पास इट बैक, बट जॉर्जिनियो ने अब डिसाइड कर लिया है कि मैं ब्रूनो के पास रह रहा हूँ, बिकॉज यू नो that's what he decided, because obviously he has to pick one. अभी ही सेइंग कि यार शायद ओबा या माउंट जो है इसको पास रोक दें. सो आई एम उस वक्त जो है आई थॉट, एंड ही इज राइट एक्चुअली. इफ वी गो बैक एंड सी, अभी द पास टू ब्रूनो इज मोर dangerous, so he has to stop that. So he sort of sticks to Bruno, बॉल इधर चली जाती है. अब जॉर्जिनियो जो है ब्रूनो को छोड़ के आ रहा है to try and sort of see if he can get Casemiro, लेकिन वो पूरी तरह ब्रूनो को भी नहीं छोड़ना चाह रहा. And look at what happens now. He realizes कि अभी पास वरान से मार्टिनेज पे जाएगा, and that leaves Casemiro free. बिकॉज माउंट जो है वो शॉ का पास रोकने की ज़्यादा उसके बारे में कर रहा है, एंड इधर ब्रूनो खड़ा हुआ था. सो ऑब्वियसली जॉर्जिनियो वॉज विद हिम. सो नाउ जॉर्जिनियो इज एक्चुअली ट्राइंग कि वो तेजी से आके रोके. बट वी आर जस्ट गोना सी व्हाट हैपेंस हियर, विच इज़ दैट ही एक्चुअली कम्स प्रिटी नियर, बट देन ब्रूनो भी खाली हो जाता है, राइट? एंड देन ही इज सॉर्ट ऑफ इन द मिडल. सो एसेंशली वो कहीं भी नहीं पहुंचता. ही गेट्स नोवेयर, एंड Casemiro gets the ball, he's able to turn. Jorginho Bruno से influence होके उसको पकड़ नहीं सकता, and they're out again, right? Now I'm going to give you another example, and this time it's Eriksen. So just notice the details here. Notice Aubameyang क्योंकि जाके प्रेस करेगा, राइट? Aubameyang का काम है कि वो आगे से प्रेशर डाले. He is the line of engagement in many instances. Obviously माउंट भी हो सकता है इस केस में, बट उसने आगे जाके प्रेस करना है, राइट? वो जो हमेशा कैसेमेरो की टेंशन नहीं ले सकता. और कैसेमेरो बहुत क्लेवर है कि वो इतना डीप भी नहीं गिर रहा, बिकॉज फिर ओबामेयांग का काम आसान हो जाएगा. कैसेमेरो अभी इज जस्ट फार इनफ कि ओबामेयांग जो है वो उसको नहीं पकड़ सकता पूरी तरह, और जॉर्जिनियो जो है वो तो पकड़ सकता है. बट लुक एट एरिक्सन हियर. अब जॉर्जिनियो की लाइन में दो बंदे हैं, और Aubameyang इशारा कर रहा है उसे कि भाई इसे पकड़ लो. एंड द रीजन व्हाई यू डोंट हैव Loftus-Cheek over here is because Bruno Fernandes is also there. So it's a 3v2 like we talked about. It's a proper 3v2 situation. Or I'm just going to roll this forward, and then you can see कि क्या होगा. Okay, and then now notice here, Jorginho भी उसे बोल रहा है कि भाई तुम पकड़ो. You should. I have Eriksen. And he's saying, I have to go and press him, because he might pass it to the keeper, and then I have to go. I can't just watch and wait and then do nothing. And then basically what happens is that it does go to the keeper, right? As Aubameyang was saying. And now look at both of them. दोनों जो हैं वो पीछे देख रहे हैं, because they're worried about Casemiro. Casemiro is not even the picture anymore. Casemiro बहुत clever positioning की है कि he is forcing Jorginho कि वो आए. But what is that doing? That's leaving Eriksen free. And ये Casemiro है, ये Aubameyang जा रहा है, यहाँ से भी Jorginho आ रहा है, right? And Eriksen is free now. But De Gea doesn't take the correct decision. De Gea decides to go long. पता नहीं miss kick करता है some sort. But eventually now look, actually what happens is कि जॉर्जिनियो कहता है लॉफ्टस-चीक को कि तुम कैसेमेरो पे जाओ, बिकॉज ही इज गोइंग इन योर जोन, राइट? चेल्सी की लेफ्ट साइड, यूनाइटेड की राइट साइड, और मैं ब्रूनो को पकड़ लेता हूँ. सो वो ब्रूनो को पकड़ रहा है, और De Gea ब्रूनो को ढूंढने की कोशिश करता है, इवन दो एरिक्सन इज द राइट पास, विच मीन्स के खैर he makes the wrong decision. Jorginho gets the ball, doesn't control it properly. United are out. Eriksen receives the ball, facing play, all good. Right? And just to highlight another example here, it's the same thing happening all over again. अभी 15 मिनट हुए मैच के, मैं बार बार एक ही चीज़ दिखा रहा हूँ. United have the ball for most of this time. Chelsea are unable to get the ball back, and the reason is what I'm showing you. Jorginho ये इसकी टेंशन ले रहा है, ये इसकी टेंशन ले रहा है, ये भी इसकी टेंशन ले रहा है. So it's very fluid from United. वो बेसिकली एक साइड ऑफ सेंटर मिडफील्ड को जो है उसको इन्फ्लुएंस करना चाह रहे हैं, और 3v2 को यूज़ करना चाह रहे हैं. लुक हियर, again, Martinez was the key. Martinez is passing it to Eriksen, right? And United are out once again. And just look, this is the final probably example that I'm going to show you. Martinez again has the ball. It's the same thing happening. Martinez has the ball. इस दफ़ा what's happening कि एरिक्सन यहाँ पे है, ब्रूनो यहाँ पे है. अब again, do you see the left side tilt? ये दोनों लेफ्ट साइड पे आ गए हैं. रूबन लॉफ्टस-चीक अब वहाँ जितनी देर में आएगा उतनी देर में मामला ख़त्म हो जाने. ओके, देर excuse me, they're clearly sort of overloading one side of center midfield. अब हुआ क्या है? जॉर्जिनियो he thinks obviously कि एरिक्सन को पास मिल सकता है and that's dangerous. He's going towards Eriksen, right? But what is that doing? That's leaving Bruno Fernandes free between the lines. And we are going to see Jorginho's reaction here. This is Jorginho's reaction. Look at his hands. He's like, I can't catch a break because it's always मैं एक पे जा रहा हूँ, दूसरे को खेल देते हैं, मैं एक पे and Bruno here is able to turn. He's able to play that pass to Shaw, to Sancho. They're not able to capitalize completely, but it's United pressure all the time in this half, like so far, right? ये सब होता है. And here's just an overview of what happened. ऊपर से दिखाया हुआ है. I hope I could see football matches like this, but ये replay में उन्होंने दिखाया. Now look at this. Azpilicueta, ये back 4 है, ये back 5 है इनकी, right? ये Loftus-Cheek है अपने एरिया में. ये जॉर्जिनियो जा रहा है एरिक्सन पे. And Bruno is free, right? So there we have it. Basically जो हमने बातें की थी वो they've all been shown in a way, right? Some of them कि United का एक proper build-up था, which was very impressive. किस तरह उनके principles in play थे. That's down to the coach. कि he's drilled them very very well and they know कि how he wants them to play and what to do so they can play the way that he wants them to play, right? उसके अलावा United were playing very well in the first half to a point, and we'll get to what happened after that. And they were able to dominate possession. Chelsea weren't able to do much. और उसके बाद I come to the point जब मैंने बात की थी कि I rate Graham Potter very highly. I think he's amazing. And I'll show you an example of what happened. अब Graham Potter, अब obviously match analysts बैठे होते हैं ऊपर, वो मैच को लाइव देख रहे होते हैं, राइट? नीचे मैनेजर्स हैं, वो भी देख रहे हैं. they've done this so many times. They mostly, all the good ones at least, know what's happening and what's wrong. Graham Potter does something very interesting. In the 35th minute, he makes a change. He brings on Kovacic for Cucurella. And what that does is कि Chelsea back 4 में चली जाती है and they shift to a diamond in midfield. So it's a 4 diamond 2. Okay? Kovacic आ जाता है सेंटर मिडफील्ड के अंदर. एंड द रीज़न फॉर दैट इज़ कि ही सीज कि आप बहुत ज़्यादा डोमिनेट हो रहे हो, राइट? आप बहुत ज़्यादा डोमिनेट हो रहे हो. आप बार बार जो है you're letting a free man in midfield. They're able to build out. You're not able to win the ball back. So he makes this change. Now this has a big change in how the match happens, right? अगर इससे पहले अगर हम बात करें तो you can clearly see that United throughout the match are absolutely dominating. Let me pull up a stat to show you just how much United were dominating in the opening parts of this match. Actually 35 minutes. 35 minutes के लिए this is what was happening, right? So for 35 minutes United were dominating. 6 shots, 4 on target. Chelsea have none on target. Touches in the opposition box. Possession, all of that, great. Graham Potter makes the change. This is what we have, and already you can see the problem of having being outnumbered in midfield, that's gone. So this is the 36th minute. Abhi substitute hua hai. You can see Marco Correa off, Mateo Kovacic on, and now you can see the change. दो striker, ये आपका diamond, right? And here you've got the back 4, right? And what is this doing? Well, what it's clearly doing is कि अब आपके पास एक बंदा इस पे है एरिक्सन पे, एक बंदा कैसेमीरो पे है, एक बंदा ब्रूनो पे है, और उसके अलावा भी आपके पास एक फ्री मैन है कि अगर बॉल लेट्स सपोज शॉ पे चली जाए तो मे बी लॉफ्टस चीक और कैन गो एंड देन जॉर्जिनियो कैन कवर. So So now they're clearly addressing this problem, and let's see what effect this has on the match. So अभी 2 मिनट हुए सब्स्टिट्यूट को. Chelsea have a free kick. United अभी डिफेंड कर रही है. Bruno is clearly obviously not paying attention, focus नहीं है. Kovac, now what I'm trying to tell you here is कि उनके change didn't just give them an advantage out of possession, it gave them an advantage in possession too, because obviously it gave a free man in midfield, because for purpose like time constraints, and I don't want to make this a very long video, but I could go into what Chelsea were trying to do in possession for the first 35 minutes and it wasn't working. So you might just take my word for it. It wasn't working. Chelsea को centrally कोई option नहीं मिल रही थी, because United के 3 थे, Chelsea के 2 थे. They didn't have a free man. In fact, they were almost always, they had a man down. So अभी क्या हुआ है? They bring a man on. They have sort of 4 in central midfield, if you want to look at it like that. और United के 3 है. Right? So now they have a free man and it helps them in possession too. So just 2 minutes after the substitution, Jorginho gets the ball. Kovacic makes this sort of movement to receive between the lines, and he is the free player now. And he gets it. As you can see, movement. Jorginho plays the pass. And for one of the, I think it was the first time in the match, Chelsea have some movement and some activity between the lines that they are able to progress the ball with. और वो ball progress करते हैं and they create a chance. Their first sort of meaningful half chance or whatever you want to call it, right? And sort of just goes wide. I don't think we're troubled here that much, but either way. Now let's go to how this changed. जो हम पहले discuss कर रहे थे कि United were trying to build out again, and Chelsea tried to sort of solve that problem that they were facing. So still just 3 or 4 minutes into the substitution, Day has the ball. You can see Sterling और Aubameyang wide, थोड़ा बाहर से अंदर आने की कर रहे हैं. Mount is on Casemiro. Kovacic can sort of be a bit of both. Either Jorginho can maybe get, Bruno or someone. उधर Loftus-Cheek जो है Eriksen पकड़ा है, and then Kovacic can sort of go on Dalo if the pass goes there, क्योंकि अभी गोलकीपर इस तरफ फेस कर रहा है, right? It goes to Martinez, it comes back, and you can already see कि ये तो नहीं खेल सकते, right? शॉ को खेल सकते हैं because इस पे already बंदा है. और there is a concept in football pressing especially, it's called half and half. So Ruben Loftus-Cheek अभी half and half है, and what I mean by half and half is कि पहले वैसे वो एरिक्सन पे है, but when he sees कि अब बॉल शॉ को जा सकती है, so he's and the reason for that half and half का होता है कि शॉ को ऊंची अब उड़ती हुई बॉल जाएगी most likely, right? It's going to take a while, flighted ball है, उसको कंट्रोल करने में टाइम लगेगा. So Ruben Loftus-Cheek can afford to not be exactly on Shaw, but he's still able to cover Shaw, if you get what I mean. So अभी बॉल जाएगी, अभी वापस जा रही है, and he knows कि अब वो Shaw को most likely ढूंढेगा. So he can go on Shaw now. So he's kick जा रही है. So he's left Eriksen now, because Eriksen के पास बॉल नहीं पहुंच सकती. Right? It's very, very difficult. It's virtually impossible. It is going to Shaw now. So he can go to Shaw. And there he is. अब वो Shaw के ऊपर जा रहा है. बॉल इधर आई है, Shaw के ऊपर चला गया वो. And Chelsea are able to win the ball back. And this is, I think, if I'm not wrong, this was the first time in 39 minutes that Chelsea were able to win it in United's first, second, third, or even in midfield, right? Varna, United were able to build out easily before this. Uske alawa, if we even go to the second half, the other thing that I want to sort of... So, before that, I just want to say Graham Potter... So, guys, this is what elite managers or elite coaches are all about, right? One of them had a plan. One of them drilled his side really well, Erik ten Hag, to play the way that he wants them to play, to build up. And coaching a build-up is one of the most difficult things in football, right? He did that very well, to the point that they were exceptionally good at the principles that they were sort of carrying out. Graham Potter wants to win the ball back high, ideally, right? And then not let them have a free run and then let them play and then sit back and then counter. He's not that sort of guy. And he then sort of diagnosed the problem in game, reacted to it. ये मैं chess match की बात कर रहा था. अब फिर Chelsea के पास ज़्यादा बंदे हो गए, right? Now what does Erik ten Hag then do, or what do the United players do? They obviously, like I said, he is a disciple of Cruyff and sort of influenced by Pep. So what he wants to do is he wants a free man, and he wanted that in the center. And what's he doing now is कि उसने देखा यार मेरे my midfielders are sort of now overcrowded because Chelsea have like 3 or 4 people in there. So I need to send more people in there. So what does he do? He inverts the fullback. Shaw इधर आ गया. So as you can see, ये Bruno और ये Jorginho है, ये Kovacic है जो sort of इस पे ये half and half है इस पे. He doesn't really need to worry too much क्योंकि बॉल अभी यहाँ पे है. ये वो 2 स्ट्राइकर हैं, ये माउंट है. अब कैसेमिरो अब गिर गया है because now what he wants to do is he wants to invite Mount out, right? कि अब इधर जगह बने ज़्यादा. पहले वो इधर खड़ा हो रहा था, right? ताकि जॉर्जिनियो हैज़ टू मेक अ डिसीजन कि वो किस पे जाए. अब वो इधर आ गया कि माउंट बाहर निकले और इधर ज़रा ज़्यादा जगह मिले. बट द इम्पॉर्टेंट बिट हेयर इज देयर इज अ विंगर हियर, सैंचो इधर है समवेयर, यू कांट सी हिम. सैंचो का पास रोकने के लिए स्टर्लिंग जो है वो बिजी है. एंड व्हाट देयर डूइंग नाउ कि शॉ को इधर खड़े होने से बेहतर देर लाइक हाँ ठीक है शॉ इधर प्रॉब्ली शायद उसको बॉल मिल जाए एंड देन मे बी समथिंग कैन हैपन. बट दे वांट टू बी प्रोग्रेसिव, दे वांट टू बी वर्टिकल. एंड व्हाट देयर डूइंग इज कि हम शॉ को अगर यहाँ पे पोजीशन करते हैं, दैट मीन्स कि नाउ बिफोर रूबन लॉफ्टस-चीक गेट्स बैक we are able to play those line breaking passes, and that's exactly what I mean कि Martinez was so important because Martinez did exactly that the entire game. अब कितने examples हम देख चुके हैं. Always Martinez has the ball, someone is here in this channel more or less, yeah, the left half space, and they're trying to find him, and more often than not they have to find him and then they play. And I just think overall that was just a fantastic sort of thing that we saw throughout the match. And yeah, I think just to sum up all the things that I've said, United, as much as I hate saying it, are turning into a well-drilled side. With time, they are going to be a force. Let's see how far they can go, but abhi it's all good. Clearly very different from the side under Solskjaer, which often had very little idea what to do in possession or in their build-up. And then Potter, amazing sort of solution. And then it was just a brilliant match to analyze. These are 2 of the best young coaches in world football right now. Or is Erik ten Hag young? Or is... Either way, they're the 2 of the best upcoming coaches. And Chelsea or United are absolutely spot on in having them. And I hope, or actually I don't hope with United, but both these teams, fans should hope that they give them the time to implement their ideas because they're some of the best. And yeah, I hope you like this analysis. I hope you like this detailed breakdown. If you did, please comment below. Please let me know if you would like me to do more of these. I would love some feedback. I actually want to start doing more of this. Either it would be me alone talking about a match in detail. It might be me with Hamdan, the Karachi United, the person I work with, who's the head coach at Karachi United, where I work as well. It's going to be us. Maybe it's going to be me. Either we're going to break down a match or we're going to talk about some of the key moments that have happened in football. So please let us know what you want, what you would like to see, and do support the channel, guys. Please subscribe, like, comment. Buy us a coffee. It's just $1 and it would mean the world to us and it would allow us to do all the stuff that we're doing. Until next time, take it easy.